So we're coming over here. We're on Connell Street in Eastridge, Tennessee. And we're gonna walk through hopefully at least one of these units over here. Bought these two side-by-side duplexes as part of a package, a 6-package deal a few years back. And the seller was very open to owner financing. It's kind of a sad story, actually. He had survived cancer once and he had a second bout coming on. And, you know, he knew he was gonna pass away. He had over 100 properties at one point. He was slowly selling them off and took a liking to me as a young investor for some reason. And I think about almost 15 or 16 properties from him total before he passed away to help get rid of them all. But these two, I actually had offered him $80,000 and he told me I was offering him too much, and he sold them to me for $70,000, which was great. That's what having good rapport does with a seller, right? He saw that I was an up-and-coming investor and he was, probably 80 or 85 at the time. The reason I was able to buy them with owner financing, this is one thing I tell you guys all the time, is you need to talk to people and figure out their why. What's their motivation? Why is it that they want to sell? And again, for him, he knew he was going to pass away. He knew he wasn't going to live forever. He had a wife, and she is Miss Dorothy. She is the sweetest person ever. Very typical Southern belle, but never had been involved in his business at all. And then he had a daughter, and she has MS, so she can't run the business. So what was important to him? What was important to him was making sure that they, after he was gone, had a consistent check coming in month after month after month after month. So we made a deal. We did a couple different packages where we bought his properties. We wholesaled some too. But yeah, so these two properties, monthly payment on it's $501. And at the time, I probably wasn't making that much cash flow. I was maybe making $500-600 a month cash flow. But over time, this is the one thing we talk about. This is why you buy real estate and hold. The values continue to go up. Now these are, we bought these for $70,000 each. Now they're worth over $300,000. But that payment has stayed the same. In fact, we put it on a 20-year term, and that 20-year term is going to be up here probably about 6 or 7 years. And then now I have no payment. Now I'll have all this rental income coming in. So, my income will go from $3,000 to probably $5,000 or $6,000 a month by then. So buy real estate and wait. Real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but also, you can make some money wholesaling pretty quick, but that's not wealth. That's just a job where you're getting paid every day. So, having a good blend of both of them is what really made us successful. When I bought these things, the way my thought process was I didn't need to get $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a month cash flow. I could take a smaller bit of cash flow because I also had the wholesale company that generated cash every single month. So that was just my particular strategy. And then, we leaned very heavily into owner finance deals, sub-2, but a lot of very straightforward, the seller owns it free and clear and we're going to make payments to them. But, my philosophy was, because I really started it 13, 14 years ago, I didn't want to be making payments till I was 70, right? I didn't want to put them on a 30-year term. So I tried to make the terms just as short as possible. What that does is that gives you less cash flow, but, I knew they'd be paid off quicker. And then, of course, over time, it hasn't mattered. Real estate has appreciated, rents have tripled. So yeah, it's been good. But the moral of the story is you got to go out and buy some rentals. I don't recommend putting them on, selling the notes, and just, turning around and reselling it to another person where you're just getting that cash flow every month, because that's great. You are going to get to avoid tenants, toilets, and trash. But if I sell this to somebody on an owner finance note or a lease option or something like that, at some point they're going to close that note out and my cash flow is going to turn off, right? I don't want that. I want to make sure that if I live to be 150, I'm always going to have cash flow coming in all the time. So, if you're really hung up and not wanting to deal with tenants, then just put these things with a property manager, right? It's easy. Yeah, they'll take 5 or 6%, but chances are they're going to run it better than you, and they're going to get higher rents than you, and they're actually going to pay for themselves, and you'll make more money. So that's what I did in my business a couple of years ago. Is as I got busier and had multiple businesses, I couldn't run the rentals anymore. So I brought in a great property manager in Chattanooga. It's Dorby Property Management. And brought them in and they handle it. They do all the stuff. I just come around every so often and check on them. So buy some property. So it's a Sunday here in the summer of Chattanooga. We're just running around here looking at a couple of our properties. We own these two duplexes side by side here. So we've had some long-term tenants over here. This guy had probably been here 10 years. He works over at Volkswagen. Great guy, good tenant. But this unit on the left here is vacant. We'll see if we can get into that one here in a minute. But I want to kind of take a walk around. I've got to get with some of my crew, my contractors, and make sure that they come over here. And before we get our next set of tenants in, that we get all this trash cleaned up, all of this just overgrowth. You can definitely tell that it's been vacant for a little while. So yeah, let's take a walk around and see what we got. Yeah, so this is what it's like a day in the life of a real estate investor, right? It's not always the craziest, sexiest thing, but just coming over here, making sure that, you know, we get with our landscaper and, you know, get all this stuff cut back. Last thing you want in a property is a bunch of, you know, foliage up against your house, because it's going to cause moisture, and that's what causes wood rot. In this case, you can see they've already cut and pulled down a lot of these vines. This unit should be ready on the inside. It's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath rental. Should have it ready in the next couple weeks. So team's done a pretty good job getting the grass cut and get everything cleaned up, but we'll get the rest of this little kind of overgrowth done. This mess here in the back, I don't really know what it is, but we'll get them over here, get this all cleaned up. Yeah, and this will make a nice rental. This is very typical of a rental here in Eastridge, Tennessee. Nice little duplexes. This will rent for $1,100 or $1,200 a month for a 2-bedroom. Like I said, our payment on it for the whole, for both sides, is $501.50. So basically my mortgage for half is like what, $225 and a quarter, and then, you know, it'll rent for $1,200. So that's pretty good cash flow. That's a hit. We have about 80 of these, so that's how you get rich in real estate. Just start to accumulate these. You can't do them all at one time, but you got to get your first one. Once you get that first one, then you get your second one. Then maybe buy a package of 3 or 4, and then starts to build from there. You know, the more you have, the more confidence you get. And with confidence, makes it easier to start accumulating, and then you start to get a little bit of a name in your community of somebody who's actually going to close on these deals. And yeah, that's how it starts. You know, all of our businesses all came from wholesaling and being good with doing marketing and talking to sellers, right? Being able to create quick checks with wholesaling and with rehabs, and then long-term money with the rental properties. So, you know, that is what's allowed me to go invest in gas and oil, to build easy REI closings, to build easy title and escrow, and now to be, you know, helping building investor lift title. So yeah, but you got to go out there and you got to talk to people, man. Go buy some real estate.